Let's stay on the water, although a long way from Fovo Strait. Team New Zealand's boat builders are working desperately through the night in Bermuda, repairing their damaged catamaran after a dramatic day and wild conditions on the water. In a day of high drama, the team had to change a wing shortly before winning its first race against BAR, but nosedived and capsized at the start of the second race. Some crew members were flung into the water, others were left hanging upside down, clinging to the boat, all of that kind of stuff. America's Cup commentator Peter Lester has since said the race should have been abandoned and the safety of all teams was at risk in the high winds and choppy seas. In a moment, we'll hear from our reporter Todd Nile, who's in Bermuda, of course, for his take on it. But first, Team New Zealand has admitted the capsize was the team's own fault. Here's helmsman Peter Burling after the race.
Yeah, well, firstly, sorry to keep all of you waiting. We kind of realised we're a little bit late, but we're actually just trying to get the boat in. And obviously we've sustained quite a bit of damage, but I think, the firstly and the most important thing for us is that all the guys on board are safe and with no major injuries. So it's definitely a relief when you're seeing a few of them falling off, that you can, see them, your heads above water, and that they're all fine. And right now the guys are obviously taking the boat out and assessing the damage, which we have quite a bit. But we feel like we'll be able to repair it and get back into action.
It's Peter Burling. Our reporter Todd Nile watched it all unfold in Bermuda. Not only was there the capsize, but he told me by a Skype video it was an achievement getting Team New Zealand on the water at all this morning.
Yeah, I mean, it was a day where you kept seeing things happening and you were going, no, that can't be right. I saw the boat go off. A short time later, I looked out the window again and the boat was back, and you're going, hang on a minute, racing starts in 15 minutes. What's going on here? And then, so I rushed down there. It's only 50 metres from the media centre, and watched this extraordinary performance as they lifted the boat out of the water, got the old wing off, got the new wing on. And, everyone watching was quite anxious because these wings, when they catch the wind, there was every hand on deck on ropes trying to steady this thing as they lifted it off the boat. So they have to lift the wing up, then they have to trundle the boat away from underneath it, and then they've got to get the wing down on its own trolley and away and get a new wing out, and all in this incredible wind, and there's guys rushing around holding, it's like a vertical tug of war with this wing to keep it in place while the replacement work is going on. Families standing around, really anxious, a couple of teenage sisters of one of the crew, almost inconsolable watching this work go on because they understood, the disaster that it could be if they didn't get back out to the racetrack, not knowing what the real disaster was going to be later in the afternoon.
Which is incredible. So they get it out, they win the first race, they capsize in the second race. And what was it like being there as that was going on?
Well, I went back down to the Team New Zealand base, after that capsize where the family, were grouping and waiting for the boat to come back in. And it was a long wait because the boat was so, the wing was badly damaged, and so they had to be careful how they moved it. And, you could go and watch out in the distance, out on Great Sound, with this dark, broody sky, this lone boat coming slowly back into the base, and almost teary family members who were relieved that nobody was hurt, but understanding, without knowing what the damage was, what this meant for the team, the scale of the work that is going on now as we speak and through the night to try and get the boat ready.
Do you think they'll be able to get the boat ready? I know it's almost too soon to say, but what's your sense from the camp?
That the boat, as I was told, can be ready tomorrow if racing is on tomorrow, but that itself is also a question because the forecast is looking even worse than today, and today was the biggest wind that they've ever raced in here.
Yes, and the question, I guess, is should they have raced today? There is now a growing school of opinion that they shouldn't have been out on the water.
Well, according to the rules, they should have raced. The only restraint is what happens in the minutes between 8 minutes before and 3 minutes before the start gun. If it's over 24 knots in that period, then the start is deferred. If during that 5-minute window the wind is stable and consistently below 24 knots as it was, the race can start. Once the race is started, really there are only significant safety concerns that allow the organisers to call it off. And remember also that there is pressure on the schedule to get this through because this is all dictated by a TV schedule. The Challenger final starts at the weekend, and if this competition is not completed, then it gets cut short and the results are determined by whichever races are completed. So imagine the uproar if there was an incomplete competition, some weird thing happened which could do, and everyone's going, well, what about that day? Why didn't you race then?
Todd Nile from Bermuda.